Michelle?
Hi, Jay. I guess what everyone's kind of wondering is what's the mood of the team? What's the mood of the locker room? Phil just said that he's not going to name his team until Sunday at 6:38. That he's going to look everyone in the eye and see who's really wants to fight and who wants to win. Can you just describe from a player standpoint what is the locker room like right now?
Yeah, definitely not the best for sure. I mean, when we came in after the game, that was definitely the worst that I've seen. The guys just morale-wise, and for good reason. We weren't good enough on the day. It's probably the worst result that we've had. I think it's one of the worst results I've been a part of as a professional athlete. So it wasn't good enough on every aspect. And the day after, there was still some hangover from the game, and there was still some guys. But we have at this point, guys, every game is a final for us. So, and I think guys know that. Training today was positive. We worked on some good things. The morale is starting to get back. I mean, we can't hang our heads on this past game. We can only learn from it, and try to just come out this weekend and give it everything we have, and really just give the fans a game that they can be proud of. We haven't been good enough at home. It's no secret. I hate looking up at the fans after these losses. It's it's one of the worst feelings because they support us all game long. In a game like that, who would have blamed them for walking out? And they stayed till the very end. So it's a massive credit to them. And even though it's at times, we may not show it with our play, we definitely do support them, and we appreciate how they support us. So morale definitely isn't the best, which I don't think it should be after a 5-0 loss. But it's it's all eyes are on this weekend, and I think there's going to be 11 guys that will be out there, as Phil said, that are going to give it their all to try and get a win.
Steve?
Yeah, just following on, Phil said you weren't really playing as a team, as a collective group.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're not doing that? And just what you said back there about a hangover that some of the guys felt, you meant that just the morning after people were still sort of discussing or arguing or doing whatever about what had gone wrong in the previous night.
No. It's a tough kind of thing to to try and figure out why we aren't winning these games, because for me personally, I mean, it's not the fact that we don't want to win, you know what I mean? And it's like as a unit, everybody wants to perform, everybody wants to do well. But I think with us, we need to find a way that when we hit adversity in a game, we need to stop shutting down as a team. I think if you looked at the first 15 minutes of the game, we were dictating the game. We had some good chances. We looked like we were up for it. And this is something we went over in film after the game. They had one, their first chance, really. It was offside, but it seemed like obviously they scored, but it got called back. But it seemed as soon as that happened, we were like, it was our first adversity that we had faced within the game. And, after that, we just kind of were like, oh, like, dang, they almost just scored. And then we kind of went into a shell, and we just stopped kind of doing the things that we that we needed to do to adhere to our game plan. So I think for us it's about finding a group of players on this team right now that have experience, have the willingness to fight and not kind of put their heads down and give their all for the team. Because at this point it's not about we've lost so many games. It's not about who's the best player. It's about who's the best for the team right now, and who's going to help the team get results. It's so that's kind of where we're at. The guys aren't. A lot of people might think that we're out of it. I know we have a tall mountain to climb, but guys are still positive. Guys still want to do well, but we're in a hole right now that we quickly need to get out of if we're gonna try and make a postseason here. So, and that's what this club deserves. Everybody who wants to come to this team wants to win an MLS Cup. This is what the standard is. It's what it has to be for this team. It's Miami. It's it's David Beckham's team. It's this team can't fail. So for us, we need to, as players, we need to kind of recognize where we're at, and we need to, every one of us needs to be better. It's not just, certain players, whether, DPs, it's guys that, aren't even playing, or guys USL. As a club, we just need to be better in total. And we've had many talks throughout this past week, and especially after the game, that as a whole we need to be better from guy 1 to guy 26 or whatever, how many players we have on the roster. So that's where we're at, and we need to be better. It's just plain and simple. So,
Franco?
Hey, Jay. I had 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
One, more individual focused, one a little more collective. I'll start with the individual. We've seen you play at 10. You've also come in games as a substitute, as an 8, more of a box-to-box midfielder. Where do you feel most comfortable playing? I know, again, you've played both, but where do you feel most comfortable as yourself?
It's a good question. At this moment in time, man, I play where Phil tells me to. I can play as a 10. I think I can be valuable as an 8. I enjoy the 10 because I think that when I'm able to get the ball in good spots, I can be a creative player. But I think if we're not doing what we need to do that game to get me on the ball in those areas, then I find it tough, and I feel like I can be used better as an 8, so I can go get the ball and kind of move the team forward. So but yeah, like it's at this point, I'm trying to put in the best performance I can for the team, and try and be a positive voice for the team, because I don't think that as a team we've had enough of that. That's how I've always been as a pro. I'm not a guy. I look at myself as a guy that can play a number of different positions, and wherever the coaching staff, on whatever team I play for, wherever they need me, I look as a guy that I'll always give my best wherever I play. But I think as an 8, I think that's a position I'm comfortable with. That's where I've played a lot, but I can play in the 10 too. It's just each game is different in terms of what you need tactically, and in that 10 position, it's a position that if the game plan goes well, it's a very rewarding position. But if it's not, then it's tough to kind of get yourself in the game if we're not able to kind of get the ball in these good areas. So I go where I need to go, and to help the team. So.
Just collectively about the team, because a lot of the talk over the last few days, even after the game on Wednesday, Phil mentioned wanting a team, wanting to see a unified team. Nick said at the halftime talk, Phil, and they're saying you guys aren't running for each other. So the question is just pretty straightforward. How would you describe team chemistry and team camaraderie with this group?
And that's a conversation that keeps coming up with us. And I think Inter Miami came into the league at a tough time. We came in as a new team. It's very important that you bond immediately and kind of learn each other and how you're going to be as a collective unit. And we kind of came into the league at a time where obviously COVID happened, and so it was tough to kind of get that team camaraderie early. And I think this year we've definitely built on it. I think guys are closer. We're allowed to be in the same locker rooms now. But it's something that we still need to get better at. We need to trust each other more. And I think at times there's been a lot of individual thinking. There's been times in the games where guys try and make plays to make themselves look good. Whereas we just need to be a team, and we need to just work for each other, and we need to, realize that the result is more important than the personal kind of result, if that makes sense. And I think, if I can speak for the rest of the guys, it's not this big kind of, thing where guys don't like each other. Guys don't want to win for each other. They don't want to play for each other. It's just when we need to show that. We need to show that by our play. We need to, there's a lot of talk that we kind of, keep saying, whether it's in media or whether it's in group. But I think at this point we need to just go out and do it, and we need to, not talk as much. We need to show. So I think a game that you lose 5-0, obviously a lot of times, of course, it's not good, but it can be a catalyst for change. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. I'm hoping that the rest of the team is looking at it that way, and I hope that this Sunday we, I still have a bad taste in my mouth from that game, and so I think the rest of the guys do as well, and I think we're going to come out hopefully this Sunday and kind of use our anger from that game and really take the game to Philly, because that's all we can do. That's what the fans deserve. It's what we need to do, because nobody at that training ground right now is happy with where we're at. So yeah, it's we need to be better, plain and simple, and it starts this Sunday, to try and get ourselves into a spot where we can try and make a run at this. So yeah.
Good. Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you, Jay.
Cool.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.